I wrote ads, and we had to time those ads to the second. So you had to learn to write, to master the time that the person had purchased. So sometimes you would have to write 15 seconds of copy, and sometimes you would write a minute of copy, but it couldn't be 64 seconds, it had to be 60 seconds.
So good. Well, what do you? You taught school, true?
I taught at the university for 37 years.
So what'd you teach?
I taught poetry, creative writing, literature.
What's the scene in? This is in what school?
University of Toledo, mostly. I taught in Chicago
so what's
5 years.
What's the scene in Chicago and Toledo in poetry then when you first started into it and now?
It was vital, man. The streets were hot. There was an expanding street culture and a language culture in Chicago.
In Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago in the early 70s.
Early 70s?
Yeah, it was very exciting.
Yeah.
A lot of independent theater companies, Kingston Mines and Lincoln Avenue theaters were opening up.
Well, how'd you come about being? Were you raised in Toledo?
I was raised around. I was raised in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
So I was 60 miles north of Chicago.
Yeah. So you're
Chicago.
Chicago
Was kind of my big town.
Everybody wants to go to Chicago.
Yeah. So that was natural.
Well, how'd you end up in Toledo?
I got hired at the University of Toledo to teach literature and poetry.
Oh, great.
I met Arnie Kester, and he was the source of my staying here for many years.
Oh, good.
Then I met Nick Muska. I tried to get away after I met him, but Bob Phillips then kind of got involved, and he put my foot in some tar.
Well, what are you doing now? So you're retired from the university, true?
I'm a pensioner. I draw my state teacher's retirement pension. I'm going to start teaching poetry down on Huron Street, 422 Huron Street. Got a little studio down there.
Where's that close to?
It's right across from the Mud Hens ballpark, nearly adjacent to the front gate.
Okay.
Between the Cock and Bull and the something else, Thistle and Pig. I don't know. Abracadabra. My abracadabra poetry studio.
So you're still at it? You're going to keep on going, you
I'm going to
think?
keep on going. Still writing. Still working as poet laureate, even though the county commissioners have received my notice of wanting to terminate that position. They have not chosen to do so.
Oh, you're a poet laureate too, huh? That's kind of cool.
Kind of cool, but it's getting old. Time for someone else to wear that laurel.
So okay, so you're in your 70s. What would you say to aspiring poets now? Do you think they're only is it only like
that's why I'm gonna start teaching, because I have a lot of things I want to say to aspiring poets now.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a lot of rap that's poetry. Eminem is poetry, but
Absolutely.
sometimes
All
it gets
that,
a little repetitious.
That's not what I know and teach and love, and can.
Well, who do you
convey.
like? Who do you think
I like
inspired you?
I like the poets that I studied. The great poets who were my teachers.
Well, who'd you meet?
Bob Creeley, Gwen Brooks, James Wright, John Logan, James Dickey, Robert Bly, Etheridge Knight, a lot of poets, nearly all of whom have passed on.
Any inside stories that you'd like to pass on, either funny or cute or inspiring to you?
These guys were, to a person, men and women, dedicated to writing. I mean, they were artists first and foremost. They got up, they wrote, they published books, many books for the most part. They wrote about their communities, their families, their dailiness, their national and global politics, their sense of language.
So what do you think? Do you think that politics and poetry go together, the two P's?
Politics seems to invade almost every art form. If we're visual artists or singers or poets or probably even drummers, even though I haven't really talked about the rhetoric of drumming with a drummer. But I think politics is implicit. You know, if you're poor, you're political. If you're rich, you're political. If you're a pensioner, I hadn't thought about it, but I suspect you're political too.
Oh, good. Hey, what do you got in there for poetry?
Well, you know, I was starting to write a poem that I didn't finish, but I'm going to read a few lines of it just because it's kind of an Ending Wednesday poem. And I've been trying to write poems for the last number of years.
Yeah, you might even do a little 2 or 3 minute poetry instruction with this. Someone might say, well, what is he doing there?
Well, so I want to write poems that are sort of freestyle poems, which is not what I wrote for many years. But a freestyle poem, as I interpret it, is a poem that can improvise and innovate at a given occasion, but it is planned. And so I try to write with an anticipation of what's going to happen at a particular reading. And so this is the poem for Any Wednesday. And I just got started on it, but this is the poem for Any Wednesday. As if forever we gather, in the absence of the absent, and the now, and you, Arnie, and Bob, and you, Chuck, and here in this house, this basement, this yellow Glenwood lighted porch, Toledo, Ohio, United States of America, northern western hemisphere, the planet Earth. And you've heard Peter Van Scoyt kind of articulate this kind of thing over the years, where we bring it right down to the point and the radius that we're at. So here we are in a single room, under 3 floors, around a rug, a camera, a conga. Ernie, touch that conga. Let's hear it a little bit. Yeah, a conga. And we've done this here Any Wednesday. Yes, Don McKibben, welcome.
Thank you.
We say hello to Don.
Say hello.
And we've done this, you and you and you and you and you and me. With the shelves and the screws and the cups and the pipes and the ceiling and the beams and the nozzles and the lights, the guitars and drums, the cymbals. Don, turn around. Hit that cymbal, man. Hit that hi-hat, man. Yes, yes. And so the poems adorn this active, nostalgic environment, this small white room. And so, just for a second, we think about those of us not here, those who are gone. We think about maybe ex-wives, the castaway, the dead, the beloved, the gone, the mother's gone, the dad's gone, the partners that we slept with, gone, kids, even some kids gone before their parents. So in memory, by name, we sit here and name the gone among us. Sherry Amy, and Brian Smith, Mark Perrin, Ruth Cornwell, and we speak names. A name?
Oh, Michael.
Gone. A
Oh,
name
gone.
gone.
Annie Bliss.
Annie Bliss. Someone gone.
Mark Perrin.
Yes.
John Swale.
John Swale.
Oh, right.
We name them as if by naming them we bring a bit of them back to our room. And we forgive all their crummy habits and all the crap and shit and anger and rage, everything we despised is gone. And each is adored and loved and remembered in this any Wednesday.
Nice.
Thank you. That was definitely a hearing moment.
Nice.
So those are the kind of poems that I've been trying to write. You know, the kind of right on the spot.
Kind of in appreciation.
Appreciation,
the
or
experiences of your
and I'm
life.
trying to figure out how nostalgia kind of fits
Yes.
with other emotions, but not to deny it. And nostalgia is one of those things that artists and poets are told to be very, very cautious about.
Yes.
But at the same time, we're told to be cautious about it because we indulge in it and we need it. And I'm just trying to figure that out. And now that I'm old enough to
Yeah.
clearly be
Old enough
nostalgic,
to figure, old enough to figure it out.
Well, I
Yeah.
I sometimes think nostalgia is kind of a romanticism of the past, and I don't think that's what you do.
No, but I think that's a wonderful definition of it. Quite accurate definition.
But what's the matter with romanticizing the past?
Well, some of it's
one
worth
the-
it.
That's one of the bonuses of
That last piece you had
experience.
with.
Yeah, you can. Well, I didn't.
Kind of basic.
The text with open.
No.
What is wrong with romanticizing the past?
Well, I
think-
wasn't
I think
suggesting it
there's
was
nothing
wrong.
Well, I mean, however it was
Who wants to
worded.
take the drum seat?
You could romanticize the future if you want.
That's
Well, that's probably